the Bobby Bones Show now.
Craig Morgan.
You know, I read most of your book on the toilet.
That's a good place.
That's where I can really focus, honestly.
That's funny. I'm not in there long enough to read.
Oh, I'm in there for like days now. I have some sort of IBS thing where
You're
I'm
like that guy on 40-something when you're in there playing video games and stuff.
And sometimes I'll be able to get a lot of work done.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a whole setup, the computer. I got
in the bathroom.
Craig's got a book called God, Family, and Country. It's a memoir, which it's really great. You know,
Thank you.
It's very personal.
Thank you.
And I know that's tough to do because I'm going to imagine there were times where you thought, one, do people actually care? And two, am I being too personal? But I thought you nailed it. What was the hardest part about writing this book for you?
Taking the time. And quite honestly, we had nothing but time. The majority of this we started during the pandemic when we weren't working. But I had gotten lazy because we weren't touring. I was just traveling around with my wife, Karen, and we'd go to Alaska and come back, and my co-writer, Jim DeFleece, would be like, hey, you want to get together and work on this book thing, you know? Yeah, I think that and as you alluded to, talking about it. You know, when I first approached this book, for me it was a lot like doing any other project that I've ever done in my life. I figured we'll do this, be done, and go do something else, you know, like an album. When I do an album, I work on the album. As soon as I finish that album, I'm focused on writing more music for the next project, for somebody else or whatever, production, doesn't matter. And I thought the book would be the same thing, but it's not. It's really, it's weird. You know already, you've done this, but this is the first book I've written, and it being a memoir, boy, it's going to be there forever.
Did you find yourself, and I could just be a weirdo, but did you find yourself as you were telling some of the stories that you're kind of reliving them, and I don't want to say re-experiencing them, but seeing them from a different perspective, and either they reminded you how awesome a moment was, or like how emotional a moment was that you haven't thought about in a long time?
I don't think that's weird at all. That's exactly what happened. So a lot of especially the military stories, I mean, that's been a while for me. And when we were talking about Panama, we went down to our beach house, and I brought a bunch of my buddies in that I served with in Panama, and we spent 2 days together talking about the stories, and reliving some of those things. And it was very surreal. It's one of those kind of like outside looking in. I don't want to sound all weird.
No, it's that though, because you're outside looking back in at a part of your life that maybe you didn't fully appreciate or understand because you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I've lived my life that way. Like, you know, when I jump out of a plane, I'm jumping out of the plane right then. After I'm done, my feet hit the ground, parachute's rolled up, you're moving on. You don't think about that jump no more. I'm thinking about the next thing. Looking back, it was like, at one point I was like, holy cow, I've done a lot of crap. You know, now I know why everyone was trying to get me to write the book. Because I think the longer I went, the less I would have been able to remember.
And I may mess the country up here because there were a lot of countries, there's a lot of places that you've been in this book. But in Thailand, you were working undercover to fight sex traffickers.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'd never talked to you about that here. I didn't know that. So would you mind telling these guys a little bit about that?
So I work with an organization, and I've worked with others, but Exodus Road is the one that I'm working with now. And we have offices around the world, but the entire objective is to remove people from sex trafficking. It's literally modern day slavery. And on that particular operation in Thailand, what people don't understand, the Thailand government is run basically by the military, and the majority of these military leaders own clubs downtown. And another thing that most Americans do not know, prostitution is not legal in Thailand.
It's not legal.
It is not legal. It is encouraged, but it's not legal. And I will say, if a woman is whatever age of legal age and she chooses this as an occupation, I mean, that's on her. But what is sickening is when there's a 14-year-old girl who's forced into it, whose parents sold her in order to have the money, and then she's forced to work, or even worse yet, or not worse yet, but another scenario that we ran into while we were there that was really odd, is people that come from other countries. They were going to various countries throughout the African continent and promising these people work, and these women, you'll be working at a hotel as a cleanup lady or whatever, and they get them there, and then they take their passports and they say, okay, now you work for us. the cleaning lady job is gone and you owe us for your room and board every day. So they basically are forced into prostitution. And on one of the weird situations, and this one wasn't in the book because this is currently an ongoing investigation. The pimp was a female, and she's a female from Africa. She's in Africa, and she was the one that's basically gathering these people up to work with the people in Thailand. And no one ever got a picture of her. They have never seen her. And we were there, and I was on the street with some of the women talking to them, and she called. And we were like literally talking to her. This woman in Africa talking to her women there. And I took a selfie with her of the cell phone. It's the first picture they've ever got of that woman.
Wow. Did you ever feel like your life was in danger doing that?
No, not really. They're little people. I don't mean that in a derogatory manner. I just mean they're very little people.
And you're strong. And if
yeah, I mean, I did get in a scuffle one night, just a little scuffle. So we all carry, I mean, let me tell you, I've done a lot of things and I've seen a lot of disturbing things and experienced a lot of disturbing stuff. That was that's the only thing when I came home, I thought, man, I need a 15-minute break to clear my brain because some of the stuff I seen was so bad. But we all carry like little backpacks, or we have these shoulder packs, and they're all wired with cameras and different things. And we were going into a club and they wanted to check our bags. And I'm like, they're not checking my bag, bro. And so we kind of just walked past them and ignored them, act like, stupid American tourists. And they come in and tried to grab my bag from me. And I had been filming this gentleman across doing some very lewd things, to what we had suspected was an underage girl. And he tried to take my bag. So I'm like, none. So they were going to throw me out of the club. I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. So like 5 or 6 of them attempted to grab me, and we scuffled around quite a bit till they got me outside. And then the local police come over. And so you got to go through the whole motion, even though some of the police officers that were there, and we did have a police officer assigned to us, a Thailand police officer. And I know I'm going way far. He knew what we were doing, so he comes over and puts me under arrest and then takes me off, and they have to see this whole thing. And he's pointing his finger at me, and he's yelling at me and telling me things and telling me to go and take the handcuffs off, and I walk off. And they're all happy, and we're all happy. We go back the next day, and they welcome me right back in.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I would feel like I was about to die there. I mean, but you're, I don't know, 10 times more the man?
No.
20 times more the man? What do we think we're putting in the percentage here?
This is like a movie.
That's fascinating, and the fact that you would take that on to try to help those people, that says a lot about you. So aside from that, let's talk about some of the positive stuff that you were able to see, right? I mean, through the book, what are you most proud to share? Like when you think of all the personal stories, all the things that you've seen, like what do you really lit you up to be able to share that with people?
I don't know. That's a good question. No one's asked me that.
Yeah, I do. That's what I do. My thing. You fight people. I try to find interesting questions.
I don't know. I think family, the whole concept of this book, God, family, country, those are the 3 most important things in my life. And in that order, my God is always first, my family second only to my God, and my country, my love for country. I hope that when people read this book, they feel inspired and in some way maybe motivated to feel like they want to do good, they want to be good. And I'm not trying to take away from what we're discussing, but like Amy, I follow your posts, and you always seem to post very positive things. And I think more people should do that. There should be more of that and less of the attempts to put each other down and beat each other up and try to, derive something negative from every comment that's made instead of, there's a lot of stuff on the media outlets that you could easily turn it to a good if you wanted to, instead of trying to beat it up and make something bad out of it, So I'm hoping that when people read this, that they feel motivated to maybe want to do good or be good, and understand that even though we all experience various hardships in our lives, those things, we all say, and I've heard a lot of people say, well, everything happens for a reason. And I kind of believe that. I kind of also believe that we bring things on ourselves sometimes that maybe shouldn't have happened. But we should all learn from every one of those things, and we should all become better people. Heartache, scars, pain, all of these things build us and build character and make us better people, I believe.
The book is God, Family, Country, Memoir by Craig Morgan. You got Blake on the front. Morgan's memoir will move you. That's serious. I didn't even make a joke. Blake Shelton said that. Morgan's.
Well, I didn't put the rest of it on there.
Oh, you left the rest. I hope you guys check it out. We're going to talk about music in a second.
Yeah.
But I would definitely wanted to spend this whole segment talking about the book. It is a great book. And again, it talks about all of that, your faith, your family, and not only what, and it's going to sound like John F. Kennedy, what you've done for the country, but what the country's done for you, honestly. I mean,
Yes.
it's a lot of that.
Amen. I say that a lot. You know, the military, I wasn't near as good for the military as the military was for me.
Well, I hope everybody orders it on Amazon, or if you do go buy one of those, and they have like walls, and you walk in a door and you buy a book. Is it a bookstore? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Go into a bookstore. It's called God, Family, Country by Craig Morgan. I like your pants. What kind of pants you got there?
I don't know.
You don't know? What are
Something
those?
my
Like,
wife bought and made me dress up.
what do you mean? Those are awesome pants.
I don't know. They're not jeans.
How does that make you feel when I say I like your pants?
It didn't bother me at all.
Compliment, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think those are awesome pants. I like that they're like stretchy.
Should I not be complimented?
Well, that's the debate here on this show. Eddie saw someone with good pants, and he said, I don't want to say something that'd be weird. And I was like, why not? Just say you like their pants. I like
I think there's nothing wrong with
I like
that.
Craig's pants.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That was
How did
very
you feel when I said that?
It wasn't awkward. I think the way you did it was
Because I do
kind of
like 'em.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty
I didn't
honest.
say I didn't say, man, those pants fit you well. I didn't say anything like that.
Well, Bobby, can I tell you what girls do to take it next level if they like a pants and the girl doesn't know? They'll check the tag.
So go check the
But I
tag.
can't. Oh, I'm not checking your tag. I feel like Craig's such a manly man. He might not have underwear on. I'll be honest with you. What?
I always love that boxers or briefs, and I'm like, neither.
That's what I thought it said.
If it weren't for the fact so many of you in the room, I probably wouldn't have any pants on.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, here we are. Craig Morgan.
I'm kidding.
So I got a couple things to talk to you about. First of all, we mentioned on this show when you had posted that you had a bunch of Adele CDs at your show.
Yeah.
So you're doing a show, and obviously you're selling merch, and some of the merch is music, and you cut it open, box cut or whatever, and it's just literally Adele CDs.
Correct.
How, like a whole box?
No, like 4 or 5 boxes. So my guys stopped to pick up our merchandise before we left, and they don't open it and check everything because on the tag it said Craig Morgan, God, Family, Country, the title of the album. So they just stick the boxes in the truck or under the bus or whatever, and they come and got me like, you're not gonna believe this. Like, what? We got the CDs. I'm like, thank God, because we sold out. It'd been like 2 or 3 shows and we didn't have CDs, and that's a big deal. And they're like, oh, we finally got them. And they're like, you're not going to believe this. They pull it out, and it's an Adele CD. So that somehow they had got mislabeled.
So did Adele get a bunch of Craig Morgan? She's like, what the bloody hell?
I don't know. I'd have probably sold more if Adele had put them out there.
Did you end up, selling them, the Adele ones? Or were people like, this is just weird?
No, I didn't, because I didn't know. I was afraid somebody might get
It's hilarious.
I
You
know,
should
I
have
thought-
signed them. Would you like an Adele,
Yeah.
one of a kind Adele CD signed by Craig Morgan?
We did think about that.
Yeah, and then
we thought about it.
Do you send them, like, do you get that money? Do you still get your CDs at some point?
I think Jerry when we got back, he took them back and exchanged them for our CDs. They realized their mistake.
This would have been the greatest PR duet setup ever. If all of a sudden, because you know how people fake stuff to set up duets. All of a sudden in 3 weeks, you're launching it.
Like that was
an
for
Adele
real.
duet?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So you're out doing these shows. Is it hard for you? Because a lot of your songs are so emotional. A lot of them are so. I'm watching people cry every show. Every time I see you, you're doing a song that's either about your family, your faith, your country. It's basically your book, but you have all these songs. I feel like there are people crying at every Craig Morgan show.
Yeah, so I don't do them all at every show. I got to be honest. Like, especially the Father, my Son, the Holy Ghost. I don't do that all the time. I don't know that I've ever done it at like the big festivals, the fairs where there's 30,000, 20,000 drunk people.
Probably wouldn't roll. And you get mad that people are talking drunk during it.
No, I'm not that guy too. I'm not the guy that stands on stage and tells everybody to shut up and listen. Because people are having a good time, man. And I think sometimes we take ourselves too serious up there. And that's what we're there for, is to entertain them and allow them to have fun. And if I'm music in the background of their conversation, then that's cool. They're paying good money to come see me, so they're allowed to talk if they want to. But
Did you ever play bars where people were just living their life and you were just the background music?
you're going to laugh. I never played a bar in my life until after I got a record deal.
And why would they send you back to a bar after you got a record deal?
Money.
Oh,
get
yeah.
paid.
You just needed to work.
Yeah, I did it for the work. Yeah.
In your book, you talk about how hard it was to leave the service.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just as a person, it was hard.
Yeah, it still is.
Would you?
People ask me how I transitioned from
Yeah.
the military to the music. Now I always say I'm working on it
Would you go back if you could?
in a heartbeat. If especially if I could do what I did, and in a combat situation. Now let me say this: I wouldn't want to go back just to go hang out and although I love and miss a lot of that. But if they said, "Hey, we got this going on in this part of the world, and we need you to come in," I'd be gone in a heartbeat.
You ever been a spy?
I would leave in a heartbeat to go do that. No, I've never been a spy.
You answered that fishy. I'm just going to move off.
Or is he a spy
he
right
didn't answer.
now?
Yeah.
No. I've worked with spies.
Yeah, and you've worked on, in your
Like
book.
really, like real spy people. And that, I mean, when I was writing this book, I was like, I forgot, man, that we did that. Like I was the first artist to play at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq when it reopened. But I wasn't really there just to do a show. My show was a cover for the agency and various other governmental organizations to bring in the new government for Iraq. And it was just cool as it could be.
Who's your favorite spy? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that.
Wait,
Don't
but
answer
so
that.
how long goes by until you can say that?
Well, apparently about 15 years.
Yeah, you just did.
Okay.
No, a lot of the stuff we when Jim and I were writing this, there were other stories that we submitted, and they were like, we don't know if we should discuss that. Because the big thing, here's how we knew it was okay. That especially with the agency, when I would submit something, and I was talking about Panama, and for one, I'm talking about 1989. I mean, that's a long time ago. Half the crap that the military had don't even exist anymore. So we weren't giving away any governmental secrets or nothing like that. But we was talking about an operation that involved the agency, and all they would say was, we can neither confirm nor deny. And like, okay, fair enough, that's cool. And then there would be one go, we definitely oppose the truth of this. So you're like, oh, okay, can't say that.
Well, the book that I got was an early version. It was all redacted. It's all black lines all the way through it. Half of it was. I want to play the new song. We're going to have you hang out for a little bit, but I want to play the new song here. It's called How You Make a Man. And again, this is a poignant, emotional song. I don't know. Like, what do you say about this? What do you say about this before you play it in a concert?
Well, being a new song, I just say, hey, this is my new single. I want to know if you like it, because if you don't, I don't want the radio stations to play it. If you do like it, call them and wear them out, and I'll give you Bobby Bone's cell phone.
Yeah,
so you
for
can
sure. Just hit him.
Call
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
No. And then afterwards, I tell him, I believe it's a song that we need to hear, because the chorus of this song just hammers me. You run, you crawl, you rise, you fall. You hit your knees until you learn to stand. That's how you make a man. And that's life, man. Sometimes you gotta fall. And I think in today's time, it seems like everybody's scared of scratching their knees. It's like, oh, I don't want to get hurt. And love, it's like the same thing with love. I don't want to get my heart broke. Man, you're not going to experience real love if it haven't have it broke a little bit,
And I feel like when you say how to make a man, and man, it could be a man or a woman. Like when I
Absolutely.
hear
I
this
do
song,
say that.
Yeah.
This isn't just about a man. It's about a human. It's how you make people. It's how you make good people.
But what I want to know, you've done a lot of things. You've been a lot of places, all over the world. You've seen some stuff you can tell us, some you can't. You've seen good stuff, bad stuff. Do you believe there are aliens? What's the government hiding from us, Craig?
I believe there definitely could be other life forms, but I don't know that it matters.
Do you think, because some of these guys are saying that come out of this special part of the government that is over UFOs, doesn't have to be aliens, it's just something that's not identified. They're like, we can't tell you everything because you'll freak out. What do you translate that to mean?
I think people don't need to know everything.
It could be, I'm just making stuff up here. China has a technology that we don't have maybe, and that would freak us out too. Could that be a thing?
Most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
What do you know?
I know that I'm fascinated that we walk around in our lives as if nothing is going on except what we're doing.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And it's a big old world, and it's a big old universe. But I also have a lot of faith in God, and I know that He's in charge. And ultimately, this is temporal for me. We're here for a while, some longer than others. And I look forward to the time that that I'm in a life that is not temporal, that I'm living up there.
I hope mine's way longer than all you guys. To be honest with you guys.
Probably will be.
I want to be like 200. I'm telling you, man. I want to live until I just can't. I want to be one of those people that's like on Instagram and they're like 130-year-old golfer hits a ball and it looks real sad, but you're also like it's really cool. Like that's what I want to be. Yeah. How's your health? Everything good?
Oh, great, man.
Are you still biking 50 miles?
No, I'm not. I would love to be, but I'm just so busy right now. No, I'm still running quite a bit, and I bike when I can. We've gotten into the mountain biking.
Well, you wrecked that, man. That's bad.
It's
man.
worse,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no 50-mile bike ride Saturdays anymore.
No,
How about steak night?
still have steak night. Absolutely.
Is it still Tuesdays?
Yes, because I can't eat steak on Friday, but yes. When I'm home with my wife, we do steak. I grill the steak.
You can't eat steak on Friday.
We don't eat meat on Fridays,
Like all year long or just during Lent?
like all year long. That's why they have fish Fridays in school. Did you know that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that was why.
That's how impacting Christianity used to be in our society. They didn't have fish. I mean, they had fish on Fridays because they didn't want as an option for those people who didn't eat meat on Friday.
In Arkansas, you couldn't buy beer on Sunday.
Yeah, I decided that.
Now you can. But,
Thank
but
God.
For a long time.
I mean, ain't nothing like a beer after church.
Look, how are you juggling it all right now? Because you're doing book promo, you got a new song, you're playing shows. I see you at the Opry. How are you juggling it all?
Man, I have a wonderful team of people, and I have a superstar of a wife. My wife really just kind of keeps everything in check. Yeah.
Did she ever tell you a song's not good?
Oh, every day.
Oh, that's easy.
Involuntarily.
Yeah. I mean, she don't care, man. She don't like if she don't like it. I mean, y'all. But the truth is, I don't really. And in fact, I love it when my wife says that's not good. Guaranteed hit. Guaranteed hit. She didn't like Redneck Yacht Club. She didn't like International Harvester. Yeah.
What song gets the loudest sing back at shows?
Well, it depends on where I'm at. If I'm in the Midwest, no question, International Harvesters. I mean, people go absolutely ballistic, and it's as soon as we start that tractor noise, they just go nuts. They know. In the Southeast, Redneck Yacht Club seems to be one of the bigger ones. That's what I love about Sunday. No matter where we're at, seems to draw real well.
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Like universally, that's the one.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big song. It still is. I mean, and it's one of those that I feel like it's timeless. No matter what happens, forever that song will be a song that can be played.
You can also picture all the people in the song, even if that's not the same name. You can just picture. I went to Mount Pine Baptist Church, and I could see all
Miss Betty singing off key.
All of everything.
Oh yeah.
Just even though it wasn't Miss Betty, all those people are kind of assigned to our life in a certain way.
Yeah.
A listener called us and said he'd like to have you play his wedding, and I
yeah, I remember.
I asked you about this. He said, "How much to get Craig Morgan to play my wedding?" And I said, "You probably how much?" I tell him, $250,000 bucks.
I think it's $250.
Remember.
Is that just?
That's a fair number.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. I don't even need the number.
It's a fair number for a wedding. I've only ever done one wedding.
Do you sing when they come down the aisle, or are you the after?
Like the after party. Like I said, I've only ever done it one time, and I swore I would never do it again. This is the truth. After the party, they were married. Okay. They got married, and it was, tons of money. They paid me a fortune. We come in, we do the wedding. After the wedding, I hear on the bus door, and I'm like, Jerry, see what's up. And we're on my bus. The band's on the other bus. The lady comes to the bus and she says, "My husband gave me a hall pass."
Oh no!
Swear.
Way.
Hey, my tour manager's standing out there. Stand up, Jerry. Tell him if I'm telling the truth, yes or no.
Oh my goodness!
Oh no!
I said, lock the door and go get Jim Ed, the fiddle player. He's got to take one for the team.
That's funny and awkward. In the book, you talk about Craig Greer as being a stage name.
Yep.
So who told you not to use that as stage name?
Well, Garth didn't tell me not to use my last name. He just said you will have a better private life if you're not using your real name. And he was right. Of course, this was all before the influx of social media. And now it's weird because even though I am Craig Morgan, I'm still Craig. That's actually my middle name, Craig Morgan Greer. When discussing that with the label, they're like, wow, Morgan's great. Let's just go with Craig Morgan, And he was right. For a long time, like, people couldn't find me. They didn't know where I lived. Not that it really mattered, but they couldn't. Well, now, man, you can do enough research and they all know my real last name, but I mean, I don't know that it really matters. I think they also know I hunt and I'm a good shot, so nobody just shows up.
Anybody ever look at your ID and they're like, wait, you look like the it's not
Oh,
you.
yeah.
It's not you, but you look like the Craig Morgan guy.
Yes. So I did a hunt one time, and the DNR came to the show afterwards because they had seen that we were hunting, and they could not find a hunting license for Craig Morgan. So they come there to talk to me about it. And I'm like, oh, that's not my real name. Joke's on you.
Okay, look, you got it all out there. The book's great. I hope everybody, if you're looking for a great book to read, God, Family, Country, it's out. It's a lot of Craig stories. It's a wonderful book, and there's a lot of really personal stuff, really inspirational stuff. I hope people just give it a chance. If you love country music, is one thing, you'll love it. But if you just love America, I mean, it's that kind of book. Like, you finish it and you read about all that you've done. It's like there's an appreciation for you that I didn't have. I mean, I kind of liked you before you came in. I read the book, but now I really like you. You know what I mean? And then also Craig's new song, How You Make a Man, it's out as well. I appreciate you coming in. It's always good to see you. You're one of our favorite guests. And next time you want to come by and bring some Adele CDs, we're here.
I will, buddy. Yeah. And I appreciate you as well.
Right.
We still got to get you to Alaska.
I am not doing that. It's not that I don't want to go to Alaska. I've never been to Alaska. I'm not doing your track.
You got to.
You land in like a small plane, then you walk across ice, and then there's like 4 bears you got to dodge. The first 3 are good. The 4th one's mean. So you got to know what that is. Then you got to somersault through. It's like, Craig, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad.
He's like, no motorized vehicles. We hike through the woods. What is that, like 3 blocks? It's 72 miles.
No, you're exaggerating.
Then he sent a picture of his cabin. He's like, check it out. And I'm like, where's the Wi-Fi? He goes, oh, we don't have any.
Oh, man.
Do you have running water?
Yeah, you run down to the lake, fill up a bucket, and run back.
All right, Craig Morgan. There he is. All right, Craig, good to see you.